First thing is, what did you learn about someone else and who was it? Second thing is, what resounded to you in the last hour, or was it a complete waste of time?
Oh shoot.
Okay, Peter.
Steve's getting 2 new knees in the hip.
Cool. Okay. Anything else? Did you get anything out of the first session?
First session, yeah, just trying to get better all the time.
Yep.
What we've been striving to.
Yep. Good.
And, yeah, getting reminded every now and then is a good thing.
Cool.
I was talking to Kina.
Louder voice.
Kina is going to be going to China to play golf in June. She's a semi-pro. No. Semi-pro. She won the championships. And that you are your biggest opponent.
Yeah. Cool.
What? You just did me.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything.
She said Gordon and then
Gordon and
Yeah, snowboarding. What did you learn? Or you didn't learn anything?
planning.
It was a waste of time. Planning.
bowling.
Goaling. Goaling. That's a new one. We got a winner there. Marie.
Through Kirsty, I found out she's been to Hawaii twice. We were talking lots of travel.
Holiday destinations. Yeah, cool.
And probably focus and more discipline.
Focus, more discipline. Kai.
Kyan went to uni to be a pharmacist.
Mhm.
But what was the second question?
Hey, you got to be kidding me. You've had 2 goes at remembering. What did you learn in the first session? Remembering. Come on. What did you learn? What was the thing stuck out? First thing that drops in your head. What did you learn from those things, even if it was a video? Come on the spot.
I'm not put it on the spot.
That's all right. You'll learn. I'll come back. Wait, one more. Lou?
I spoke to Gordon. I found out that we have similar goals in expanding our horizons with our set areas. And I learned that I need to read the 4-hour week book.
Yep. Deb?
Spoke with Victoria. She's moved up to Agnes.
Mhm.
Loves it up there. Her mum has breast cancer, as does my daughter.
Yep.
And I stick with my goals and try and stay positive.
Sure. Got one yet? Come on, son.
I already. I haven't got one.
You haven't got one yet.
I spoke with Marie. She will be in Fiji for her birthday, and she's got 3 daughters.
Yep.
And
What'd you learn?
I learned that I need to get more motivated with my goals because I just wrote whatever down when I was doing this, and now I want to be more.
Cool.
Better goal.
Oh, you're not getting out of it, so just... No? You got it yet? You got it? Good.
Who I surround myself with.
Yep.
Because I've kind of distanced myself from a couple.
But you got some new ones, hey?
Yeah. Well,
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you distance yourself from everybody and you got nobody, you're still not learning anything. Okay? So before you axe your old friends, get some new ones. All right? And it's not Sarah because she sent you a text message and she responds to you 3 weeks later. Yeah. Are we on tonight? No, that was last week.
Hey, yeah, Brad and Britt, lovely couple, and they do yoga. My wife teaches yoga.
Brad watches.
No, he looks good in leotards.
What'd you learn?
That
40.
age isn't necessarily an inhibitor.
Yes, good.
Kynan, he's going.
All right, you were popular, but you were good looking or something.
He's going to Japan in March, and he's also in the touch blue team. And I learned.
Roped into the touch footy.
If he breaks his leg, I'm going to kill you guys.
He doesn't run that. He doesn't run that fast.
I learned the same, like the peers who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, good.
Peter went off in the wilderness of working in disability and challenging behaviours and so forth.
He's caring for himself.
His time in real estate obviously prepared him for working with difficult behaviours.
Yeah, with this idiot. Yeah.
And he's back again now. So yeah, we both sort of a bit of common ground. I'm on the board of a disability group, and he's been working in that field as well. So it's interesting to catch up, and he's back in the team.
Okay. What'd you learn last hour?
Discipline, focus, and
Discipline, focus.
consistency. Yeah.
Tashi? What'd you learn last hour?
Oh no, I
apart from being.
Bella a
Oh,
question.
good.
She has a boyfriend called Pat, and they've been dating 11 months.
He's a ginger.
He's about to be postman Pat too.
I wasn't allowed to discuss that part of the relationship. What I learned was people like Donald Trump don't get where they are by giving a shit about everyone else.
Yeah.
My reassuring thing from earlier was that people keep you average. So when I got this job, I had to cut everyone off that was in my life before I got it, and that's paid off in dividends. I tried to meet a few people. I shook their hands, told them who I was, and they didn't talk to me. But I did hear that Britt hates Tom Penos. So when Brad introduced her to Tom Penos, he goes, my wife hates you.
I already know everyone, but I did talk to Bella and Taj about their goals. And Taj really wants to buy a car, and Bella runs a lot apparently, so that's a thing. Is she on your touch team? She should be.
No, she can't. She's overqualified.
She's
She's in our Div 1. She's in our Div 1 side, which is something for you to aspire to, Conan.
I'm at Tay.
No. She hasn't finished yet. What was the one thing you learnt in the last hour?
I like that the better you get, the smaller the gap.
Yes. Good. Taj.
Gordon, he went snowboarding in America, then moved to the Gulf, and then has lived in Agnes for 21 years.
Mhm.
And choose your role models wisely.
Met Tay. She's been doing some CrossFit and been doing some handstand push-ups recently. Some pasta. Getting upset.
Which one?
Damn. This one.
You're doing handstands. Cool. Serious?
All handstands?
It took me like 2 years to do a handstand.
I can do handstands.
Yeah, nice. No, handstand push-ups.
Yes, it's a practice.
Yeah, it's like. Okay. No, that's good. All right, go.
Once you've got all your content and know how to do your shit, and most of the time it's just removing your moraine lines and believing in yourself that'll get you to that next step.
Cool. Belle. Gordon, man, you sexy beast. You're like the second oldest person here, and everybody wants to talk to Gordon.
Very interesting person. I found out he's the guy who goes to Shalom.
Yes, she does.
A real estate agent at Agnes for 21 years, and he's just like in Japan in February.
Yeah, no. You know, he randomly comes into our office, sits down, and drops his desk and starts working away. You didn't notice that last year? Didn't see him? All right, good. Special K.
I spoke with Julie. She moved from Brisbane to Agnes 2 years ago. Lives on 40 acres in Captain Creek, and her sausage dog had puppies.
We do not want one. No. No. What did you learn last hour?
Just to be intentional with playing goals.
Intentional. Good. Miss Vicky. Oh, Gordon. We've talked so much about Gordon, I feel like I know everything. Tell me something everybody else doesn't know about you.
I did have a little bit of a speed dating session. So
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, so it was great to speak with Taj.
Cool.
And being
It was riveting.
Yeah, and just great to hear a young person entering the industry. And I think the opportunities, and we have our common water skiing and sports.
Cool. We're going barefoot next week. Week after.
So yeah, all right, I'm still. And the thing I've learned is that just to have really incredible success, just being on the best team.
Yep.
And this is the best team.
Cool. Hannah.
So one of the biggest things I've learned is don't compare yourself to anybody else, because we're all here on our own journey and individual life experience. And I spoke to lovely Ashton.
Behind you.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's got a really lovely, really strong intuition. She's got 2 beautiful children, and she likes to go on holidays in her new camper van. And she's becoming very financially independent, which is wonderful. She's really setting some good goals around her financial. So
Cool.
good job, Ashton.
Miss Vicky.
I spoke to Deb. I learned that she has 4 kids, 2 grandkids, and it's her grandkid's 14th birthday today.
Nice.
And she had a really rough year last year,
Mhm.
so we're leaving that in last year and starting fresh this year.
Cool.
And my takeaway from the morning session was once a goal is done, celebrate it.
Cool. Mark.
Met Kai. He's a twin. I think he's got a lot of potential. His grandfather is his inspiration for real estate. And basically what I learnt, I really do need to go and visit a couple of people writing more than I do just to take it to the next level.
Yep, Keena.
So my takeaway this morning was putting boundaries in place with work and private
Yep.
life as well. I did speak to Deb as well, but I was going to say the same. But I just Sarah, we're both going to Luke Combs on the weekend.
Yes,
So
see you there.
Yeah. And we also have similar personal goals that we're both working towards as well. So it was nice to have a chat to her about
Good.
takeaway for as well. It's good.
Katie.
I spoke with Emerson, and her puppy is named Winnie, and Winnie is a little bit unwell and has a few health issues, especially with her liver, and so there's a little bit of money being put out for Winnie in the next couple of weeks. And my takeaway was getting older doesn't necessarily mean getting better.
Yep, good. Julie.
I spoke to Keelan, and I learned that she's had a very big year personally, but professionally she's growing, and she's got a bright future ahead of her because she's surrounded by good people, which is good. And what I learned is that if you don't go for it, like that, if you don't swing, you won't hit anything.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah.
Got to go for everything.
Yeah, good. Yep.
I spoke with Katie, and I learned that this is Katie's third industry that she's working in. What I took away from the session this morning, not necessarily on the screen, but what you said about you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep, good. Elizabeth. Just give me what did you learn in the last hour.
Brad and Britt are on not the same page.
Okay, let me rephrase that. What did you learn that you might be able to use for yourself?
The 100% of the things you don't take, you miss.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Sit on high chairs, honestly, that's all it is. Don't sit on high chairs.
I learned that trying to be better next day, like than I was the day before.
Yep. Better than yesterday? Yep.
So I spoke to Hannah.
Yep.
I feel that they're very similar with the way of life in regards to that she's travelled with her 2 kids. She's relocated from the Gold Coast, living in houses, her husband's a builder, and she's got very strong goals and
Cool. Excellent. Do you want to do it together or separately?
They're not on the same page.
They're not on the same page. So we better do it separate. Brad. Pete, you're next. Go.
Not everyone's going to like it. That's okay. It's fine. And then the thing, I met Steve, but also 2 knees and a hip. Same thing that Pete said. However, the reason he needs 2 new knees and a hip is too many appraisals over the years.
Yeah. Cool. Pete.
What do you got to look forward to?
I spoke to Tom. He's been in the industry for quite a long time, has a very high profile of social media. In regards to what he does, he's looking at taking on associates. That's a big step for him to look at. And he's an active member on the board of a disability organisation.
Yep. And what did you get out of the last 30 minutes that you were here? Because you missed the first half.
Like 10 minutes because I was...
You didn't do any of it. Okay. Excellent. Hopefully you'll learn something in the next 10 minutes. All right. Britt.
Steve's wife is a yoga instructor.
Yep.
And then average people keep you average.
Yep. Sarah.
I was talking about key average. I like meat, she likes veggies.
So I said I'd take some from our conversation.
So he's going to split your cooking? You cook Monday night, I'll take the veggies, I'll take the meat.
Yeah.
Cool. Yep.
Well, if I say what we were really talking about, that
Yeah, let's get on. Come on.
My biggest takeaway is actually writing down your goals and actually setting something. So actually putting something down to work towards, because that gives you a purpose.
Cool.
If you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 11, 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, get back out, train. You start training at 6. Train from 6 to 8. Right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, do it again. Right? Those are 2 sessions. Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4. 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? Relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again at 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4, right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. By year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work you do in the summer, they're never going to catch up because you're 5 years behind.
So, there is a few people in this room that the 10 before 10 around phone calls, prospecting, bits and pieces, most of the PM girls practice a lot of this around our phone calls that we make on a day-to-day basis and bits and pieces. But the one thing I want to say about that there is yeah, okay, he's talking about training and fitness and he's talking about getting up early and he's just fitting more into the day than what everybody else is. All right, I'll tell you the difference between really good real estate agents, really good property managers, really good FOM receptionists, is bits and pieces, is how do they get better? Anyone want to guess? Mark?
Train.
They train. How do they train? Okay, so one, you've got to train. All right, so training, you know, we had a discussion on last Thursday about scripts and dialogues and answering the phone and bits and pieces. The only way you're going to get better and the only way you're going to answer the phone correctly is train. Good morning, welcome to PRD, speaking with Kai, how may I help? Or how may I direct your call, or whatever it might be. And it's repetition, repetition. All right, same thing about business development. Business development, I remember when we first started, you're like, shit, I don't want to make those phone calls. And then she's like, okay, well, I'm just going to make, will we make like 5 a day? Is that what you started off with? Something like that? We started at 5 a day. I remember talking to her 7 months later and she goes, all that stuff I did in January, it's coming in the door. She's like, this is amazing. Now, the funny part is, a couple of weeks ago when I was up there, she goes, I'm going to go over and I'm going to target this. And I was like, that would never have come out of her mouth 13 months ago. And I thought that was really cool. That's called growth. Okay? That is called growth. All right? So when Brad joined us, he's the only dude that I could work out in our office that started making phone calls quicker than anybody else in this office. He is the only guy, apart from me getting up really early one morning and Gordon comes to work on a Sunday. I'm like, I don't have a day off. Of course, like, no man, I'm in here, I'm ready to go, I'm on Sunday. We're like in it, and he's in making phone calls. And you should hear it, he's just busting out price reductions and bits and pieces on a Sunday. And we're like, that's the last thing I can think of. Guess what? He's in front of Ray White, because Ray White's got their feet up on the deck, sitting there, and Gordon's sitting there on Sunday, and he's already knocked out 5 or 6 of them. This is like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting there just trying to get a coffee. You know, and I can hear it through the hole, and it's like, holy smokes, right? Brad, come in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and everybody knows if you're any get closer within 6 feet of Brad, no one else can hear, because that's all you can hear is Brad. And Brad's on the phone. James is the same. Nobody else can do any work while James is in the office. He's so freaking loud. But he's always making phone calls, right? All right. Funny part about it is the better you get at making phone calls, the better your speech comes, the better. You know, I look at Ashley and I look at, you know, what she does in the business development space. Was it 2 years ago? You're like, I'm not doing business development. 3 years ago. 3 years ago, she was like, I don't do that, I just probably mention it. It's not very difficult, you just got to talk to people. Now she has a following that chases that space, right? Okay? So, how do you get better than your competitors is you got to train. You know, the question is who did I speak? Anyone want to answer this in the room? Because how many hours does actually, Taj, you can answer this. Let's see if you retain the information. All right, here we go. How many hours to make an expert?
10,000.
Yes, thank you. Excellent. He just about wet himself then. Okay. All right, 10,000 hours to be an expert. Do you remember any more of that conversation? No? Okay. All right. I think I said to them, I think I said to him at that point, did anyone work out, if you work out what 10,000 hours is, it's like 5 to 6 years? Anyone work that out? Okay, so to become an expert in a field, in something, if you focus on that space, it'll probably take you at a standard run, which is not what LeBron's talking about. He's talking that is going to take, who was it? Kobe Bryant, sorry. It was one of them. I'll stop there. All right, so it takes approximately 5 years to get good. By the time you do 5 years of listing presentations, by the time you do 5 years of prospecting, by the time you do 5, you're really, really good. Except if you decide to do more than everyone else, which is get up at 4 a.m, like Kobe was saying, which I'm not saying that, is what I'm saying is set some benchmarks and go, if I make 10 phone calls before 10, I do a 45-minute session at 12 and I do the one. Guess how long you can get 10,000 hours in? You can do it in 3. You can almost halve, you can become an expert in 3 years if you decide that I'm just going to get intentional about how I train. All right, so some people have been in this, like we've had a bunch of people that I've hired and they don't work here anymore, but some of them are like, oh yeah, I got 5 years property management experience. No, you got 1 year's experience 5 times over. All right, there's a lot of people that have had that. All right, why? Because you don't choose to train, you don't choose to grow, and that's why you're still where you are, and that's why you end up there. Okay? A lot of people, there's a lot of real estate agents because they're lazy, all right? It's the biggest industry that people just, I'll come in at lunchtime, I'll go home at 4, all right? I'm pretty sure when Mark and I were training, he'd get stressed in the day. I'd say, go home, go and sit on the pool chair, grab a bottle of wine. I used to drink a bottle of wine a night, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what the phone calls were like after 7, but he used to sit there at 5 o'clock and he used to just get the phone. And he's like, okay, so I'm just going to sit there, look at the beach and, have a wine and make a phone call. And he'd just make phone calls between 5 and 7. Everybody that's been around me long enough knows that I make more money between 5 and 7 p.m. at night than I do all day. All right? I listen to Lou and Lou says, I'm cooking and I'm talking to people on the phone. I don't know how that works, but, she cooks and talks to people at that period of time. You choose what you want to do, but, a lot of our highly successful property managers, they make a lot of their phone calls between 7:30 and 9. Why? Because everybody's available then. Waste of time trying to, I think Peter wanted to test one of my theories. Sitting there doing a training session with Peter, and Peter's like, and I said to him, mate, don't bother making prospecting calls at 10 o'clock. Nobody wants to talk to you. He's like, oh. He comes in about a week later and he goes, oh, I tested your theory. I said, nobody wanted to talk to me at 10. Understand that you've got to work out in our game. You can get maximum output if you know where your clients are and where they sit. Like most of you know that you're fairly flexible around how we work as long as the work's done. If the work ain't done, we ain't flexible. Okay? But for a lot of these, we have, Elizabeth is sometimes there at 6:45 in the morning, Ash is there at 7, they're getting emails at 4. Tash has decided the kids are screaming or something, then I get something at 5. Ashley sent me something at 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, what are you doing? I couldn't sleep. But I'm not suggesting that you guys do that, but a lot of the girls do some of their best work there. Sarah, she does not do her best work in the morning. Sarah does all her best work at 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, she's like, I'm ready to go. You want to talk about it? I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that at all. She's getting her numbers out and she's like, oh, I can do this now and I can do that. I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to go to bed. But understand where your peak performance is. Understand what time of the day it is. But as much as that might be your peak time, I think I did a session on it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people found their peak performance was between 9 and 10 o'clock. If that's your peak performance, do your best work then, because that's when you are the sharpest. But the other part you need to understand that you may need to change is in real estate, especially this game, is you need to be available when they're available. I used to love the Chook Chase golf game at Bargara Golf Club back when I started in 2004. Couldn't play golf at all, but I rang all the real estate agents owners all the real estate agents listings while they were playing golf from 4 till 6. They hated me. Most of them are retired now, But it was great because I'd get the owners, I say, hey, look, just do a demonstration. If I was a buyer, can we just ring the owner and just, see if you can get through the house? See if I want to make a buyer inquiry. And so I just ring the phone number out the front, and it's like, oh, hi, you've reached, Greg McLeod from Ascot Real Estate. Can't get to the phone right now. I'm busy with clients. I said, mate, is it the chook chase? No. Every Tuesday, exactly. So my prospecting, so I used to prospect at night, Monday night. Monday night I'd get my hit list together, I'd get all the bits and pieces, and man, I just Tuesday, boom, in we go. They're like, stop ringing my vendors. I said, mate, I just asked them where they're going after they eventually sell with you. And back then it took 60, 90 to 120 days to sell a house, and they were sick of them by 60, and they were only talking to me at 58 days. They weren't talking to anyone else because they were bored by then. And the story's the same. All right, same thing with, you can relate it to rentals, except for it's a lot shorter because owners really want some action, but also you can axe your owner quickly in that space where we have to wait 60 to 90 days. But you got to understand is where your clientele is, where they best work. Gordon's onto something. Sundays for you, man, I think you got I sat there at the front, I didn't even think you think what I was watching, but I was. I think you 7 connects, one after the bang, 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 bang. I was just like, wow. And I was like, if I wanted to work Sunday, he's onto something. But I'm pretty sure you don't work every day. There's a day off somewhere else in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week somewhere. All right. So, no, he works every day. Okay, he works every day.
At least for an hour or two in the office.
Yeah. Okay. So he probably works every day, but I think you'll find that if I went around the room now and I asked Gordon when does he get his best connects, he would tell me a time. If I asked Brad, it would be the same. If I asked Mark, it would be the same. If I asked any of the other people in the room, that if I went to the PMs and said when can you get all your owners, it's not flaming 2 o'clock in the afternoon, is it? No? Some? Okay. All right. I just want you to understand that we are very much, the business that we do is not really 8:30 to 5. It is, but it's not. All right? It's not, like a school classroom where everyone rocks in at 9, even though the teachers tell you that they don't get 8 weeks holiday a year and, all the other bits and pieces. I love winding the school teachers up in the room when they rock in and do that. It's like, they've just had 7 weeks off while the kids have been in school. Oh, we've been working, we've studying, we've been getting our next thing. I'm pretty sure they crammed just like we did with the training booklets and went, shit, the kids are coming back tomorrow, we better make sure we've got something intelligent to say. Yeah. Cool story. I couldn't do it any better than this, but you're going to hear. So I'm going to do a young rookie training session with some people, but this is a cool story.
Lane's story is nothing short of remarkable. Literally starting from our front office, moving into an associate role, working with one of our lead partners, Joel Hollings, and now leading her own team. I'd have to say Monique is one of the brightest talents that I've seen in my 10-year career in real estate. What I've been able to observe with Monique is her ability to be able to take information either from training, coaching, or from a client, and then utilise that information into a strategy that gets solutions solved. Now, one of the things that we love about Monique is her willingness to be able to learn, engage, and then be able to actually go out and execute brilliantly. And that's one of those rare talents that I haven't seen in a long time.
We just finished selling with Mon and the team, and what a brilliant job Mon and the whole team have done. They've set a record for this area. Absolutely brilliant. Couldn't have asked for more.
Everyone, the whole team are just amazing. Thank you all.
I found she listens extremely well. She's very detailed, but she's also very genuine. So I think that's made that a lot easier, that transition. I think being in the team, she just understood the structure really well. She picked up on that. I think that's a credit to her and her ability to listen. I think that's her greatest attribute. I think McGrath and Monique's style go hand in hand, which is she understands that that process has got to be right for that vendor. Monique's ability to read the play is probably the reason why she's been so successful in such a short period of time.
I just wanted to say a few words about Monique leading from McGrath. It's been an amazing experience. Her customer service is second to none. I think her knowledge of the area has been impeccable. She's guided us along the way, every step of the way, kept us informed every single moment. Every time there was a change or an update, she would make the call. Very personalised, incredible. We're just so proud. We've just sold our family home, which we've had for 50 years, and yeah, couldn't be happier.
My name's Monique Layoun and I work at McGrath Estate Agents.
Okay, so sometimes where we start's not where we finish, and you know there's places that, you know, depending on what your dreams are, where you want to chase and where you want to go, we got to get started on that booklet. We got to say, hey, that's where I want to eventually end up, and you get started on a journey. It doesn't matter, you know, whether you start at front counter, whether you start there, you can actually make it, but you got to decide how fast you want to grow and how fast you want to, and how fast that you want to train. All right, because we can all train. We can go to gym. Mark's been going to gym for years, but he's got more results in the last, what, 6 months?
Yeah, 4 months.
What'd you do? You changed your training. But change your training.
Yeah,
okay? So that's the thing is if you're not getting the desired result that you want now, change your training. All right? If you're not doing any, do some. You know, like, you know, the minimum performance level as on a sales agent, as a person new, is that you should be doing 8 hours of training as a real estate agent every month for the first 2 years. 8 hours a month. Don't care how you break that up, but 8 hours, whether you go away once a month, I guarantee you in 12 months, 2 years, you will be better if you do that. But you got to do it. And the thing with it is it's not just up to me. You got to go and find, like we've had 2 people in the room say, hey, I got to go find somebody. We've got enough connections that we can find when we know where it is you want to go and what it is you want to do, we can get there. But we got to know where and we got to know the how. All right, so that's enough on the pump up part. I'm going to give you some real bits and pieces. All right. Okay, so we're going to jump into marketing. We're going to talk into strategy around what that is. We're going to talk in the room briefly around it. Okay, so here's a chart of the highs and lows of real estate. All right, this is rentals. This is just our bit that's in here, but you'll see some peaks and troughs. All right, so I overlaid the 5 businesses yesterday, and guess what? Every single one of them had the same peak and the same trough that we had. All right, so we either worked out that everyone goes on holidays in June and everyone goes on holidays in, what did I say, was it December? Is that what I said yesterday, Sarah?
December was peak.
No, okay, so this track here shows what I call is income is what we call as a 60-day bleed. So this reflection is a result of prospecting here. That reflection is prospecting here, right? This bit here is a reflection of that. We were deal managing the whole time, doing no prospecting, doing nothing, which created that, which then we went, oh no, we've got to go do something else. We went like that. And then we went, oh, I've got to keep all the deals together. And then we went, oh no, we did that. And for everybody in the room and some of the people that aren't in the room said to me, it's not like that in here, it's different. I've heard that so many freaking times. I'm here that, you know what the funny thing about numbers is numbers don't lie. I overlaid all 5 locations exactly the same within 15 days. It was scary, okay? So if it's different in your market, I call BS. All right, 100% call BS. All right, what we have to do, and part of what today's discussion around marketing strategy is this, is 1, we can easily smooth out June, we can easily smooth out December, and we can smooth out September just by getting something automatic sitting on those 3 points that while you're deal managing, that those things there, and you'll just take a little bit of the bump out. We're not trying to push it right up. We're just trying to take your bump out, okay? But if you don't know, and I'm telling you today, that's where your bumps are, I can pull it, I can show it to you, and it's 100% accurate, all right? Or keep the low bit, go on holidays, get rested up, and smash the rest of the year. But understand that that's what it's doing, all right? I can do it individually, I can do it personally for you, and you can work it out, okay? So, the marketing strategy this year. Okay, so I wanted to stick pins in my eyes last week. I have never spoken to so many nerds and about young people that have some idea about social media that is going to change my world for $50,000 a year is unbelievable. You know, they're like, you know, do you need leads and you need this and we can create this and we can create that? And I'm like, okay, righto, cool. So I met with 3 different companies. 3 different companies all gave me a thing ranging from $20,000, which is $2,000 a month, just to do posting. You still got to create content and you still got to do all those bits and pieces. And I said, okay, righto, so all right, thanks for your information, blah, blah, blah. Did you have a look at my site? No. I went, okay. So I got to the second one, you know, so they just wanted to pitch what it is that they could give you. You know, we all sign up, you know, 10 grand, you know, we're going to be the best thing, 23rd Street, we're going to get X amount of likes and we're going to do this to you and we're going to make you look fabulous. All 3 of them exactly the same, slightly different pitch. Anyway, so I got to the last one, I went, you know what, I'm going to give him a hiding because I'm sick of it. So I just give him a hiding. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, so let's make this Zoom session interactive. And I said to him, I said, right, I said, let's get. He goes, so have you looked at my pages? No. I said, okay, all right, cool. Okay, let's get my pages up. All right, so pull them up, find it, search it, blah blah blah, Google, Facebook, bits and pieces. And he's like, man, that's really good content. He's like, man, that stuff's really professional. It looks great. And I said, yep. I said, okay, cool. He's like, man, he said, this stuff looks really good, and you've got someone like posting it, and you know you could Google spend and ad spend. Are you spending any money on top of Google? And so, no. I said, you know, all the stuff we're trying to do is organic reach and blah blah blah. And he goes, oh yeah, well, he said, I don't actually think we can help you. He says, you're doing everything. Most people come to us and they don't have any of this, and you've already got most of this stuff, and you've got it nailed with the just listed and the just solds and the stories, and you've got this going on, and you've got your videos are awesome, and blah blah blah. And I went, okay, cool. All right, okay, so that's really useful. Okay, so you can't help me. Okay, so who can? He goes, well, I can tell you what your problem is. I said, fantastic, that's actually what I want. He said, but I don't know how much it costs. He said, how much? And I said, well, he goes, how much? And then he turns it around and goes, how much do you want to spend? Anyone think that's a real estate line? Yeah. I'm like, hey, I said, well, you're not falling for that one, buddy. I said, you got to be kidding. And he goes, well, he said, it is going to dictate about how much you spend. I said, right. I said, cool. All right. So everybody that has got a Facebook page, okay, on top of our page, all right, I want you, so if you go and have a look at your page, you've probably got 1,000 likes or 1,000 followers or 789 followers or whatever it is, all right? I'll just talk about the Bundaberg page. The Bundaberg page has 3,300 followers, all right? So Zach corrected me before about nurturing, okay, so we'll use the word nurture for one of them, all right? He said, the problem that you've got for the last 12 months, he said, you're preaching to the converted or we're nurturing the converted. They already know us, they already see us, they're already doing that. And if we don't get any kind of likey share bits, nothing happens. So the reason that you're not getting more appointments or you're more interaction, he said, boosting posts are a waste of time. He said, you need to spend money on Google and spend AdWords, and then you push it into whatever demographic and region that you want to do. And he goes, how big is your checkbook? Because we can help you with that. And I went, that's a dumb idea. I said, because there's no guarantee to it. You know, 20 grand doesn't get me 5,000 followers. It doesn't do anything. It's just like you spend it and hope for the best. I think you did that, Mark, for a little while, and we went, oh, hang on, we've got to stop because it's not working. Okay, so the answer to that, okay, is this. So we need to start having some goals around your social pages. So if they're personal pages and agent pages, and is our goal in 2025 has to be to grow the likes, okay, and grow the following. Otherwise, everything you're doing on social is like you just waking up in the morning going, holy smokes, I'm a fine specimen. Because that's what you do. You sit on the dunny and you go, oh, look at that, there's Brad again, you know. And away you go. You know, as you're scrolling through, you know, your personal space, and that's what you're doing. You're just scrolling like this. And that's all that's happening. And guess what? You're preaching to the converted because I already like Brad. He's a nice guy. Right? Fill out a form and see if I can get an appraisal. And do that. But it's not actually getting any bigger. Okay. So, got me thinking. And I had the partners do this yesterday. So, I said, what about if we got to nurture? So what we're already doing is working for the nurtures piece, and obviously we've got Josh and he's growing that space, right? But we have to shift our focus from, let's get some posts on Facebook up, to how are we actually going to extend our reach? How are we going to get some organic growth, organic thing? So thought about Shalom, right? Also, I've got a big football competition that we're the major sponsor for, and open homes. Okay, so open homes, we've got a captive audience. If I said to you around here, I reckon we'd meet over 100 people a weekend, no problems at all in this room, we would get 100 people a weekend. If we were to say, if everybody collectively said, hey, look, we just, I would love to see if you could help us do something for us. One is we're deciding that from the start of February or the start of March that we're going to delay all our new properties going online by 1 day. And if you like and follow our page, you'll get an exclusive look at what the properties coming soon is. And you could do that. And they're like, oh yeah, cool, we'll get like and share on stuff like that, and you would actually grow an audience that way. Second way you could do it is Mr. and Mrs. Mum, could you help us? Thanks very much for coming through. Just on your way out, could you do me a favour? We've got $1,000 up to grabs for in the next 6 weeks. Could you do me a favour? Could you like and share our McGrath page, which I've got a QR code here, which you just scan, and you go into the draw for $1,000 towards your next purchase or getting your property ready. It's $1,000 cold hard cash. All you got to do is like and follow our page. If we meet 100 people, 10 weeks, that's 1,000. If we get everybody, obviously most of them on the circuit, but you're going to grow your organic page, $1,000, 500 likes, with people in your area actually looking for something in that space. That will work. Okay? So before we go, and we've got Josh running around going crazy, getting property videos and all the bits and pieces and things like that. We're preaching to the converted unless we get a strategy around, hey, how do we actually build our thing? One person does it, it's not enough. You've got to get everybody, okay? So that's one option, all right? How do we get better engagement? Okay, so we brainstormed this, and I would love to hear some people's thoughts so you can do some writing things down and share them with me later, because I know we're running out of time. How do we get better engagement? Us oldies or partners in the room come up with, like and share our page, who's got the best view? Everybody loves to, let's get some kind of promotion thing going, like and share, because when they put their best view under the thing is, hey, show off what your best view is today, you get some comments, right? Who's got the best fishing spot? So, we got the Agnes bit and the bits of it. Show us your best pool. Let's show us your best pool or your best vacation spot or whatever it might be. Show us your bathroom reno, before and after. Like stuff that's actually interesting, that relates to real estate, that actually people go, that's cool. All right, because does anyone want to know what the number one post that absolutely outperformed everybody was? Anyone want to take a guess? What was it?
Like the ones where you're doing like get to know like the people?
Nope. Nah. Yeah, golf day. The team day. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like outperformed. Huh? Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is I want to say to you is this is the other part of cutting through the noise with the marketing strategy, right? Okay, so the marketing strategy for me is not just about Facebook and socials, right? Okay, so that's not it. So one, we have to make a decision about are we going to grow our followers and how we're going to do it, and we need to come up with a couple things and execute. That's what we have to do. So one is how we're going to do that. Is that the answer? I need to know from you is either is or it isn't. If it's not, I know you ain't going to do it. So if you believe that yes, that's the way we do it, well then we're going to do that. The second thing is we're only going to get one crack at this, because as soon as we do it, everyone's going to do it. Okay, so whoever's first wins, and after that it's sloppy seconds. Luxury promotion across the group. As Tim's idea is a lot of beautiful homes in Bargara, a lot of beautiful homes in Agnes. A lot of people buy across those two spaces. Maybe we should start a luxury space that comes in that. I don't know what that looks like, but that's actually not a bad idea. Everyone agreed that we should get the whole group collaboration across Wide Bay, showing them that we are the largest team across the group. Okay, because I have noticed that since we've been together, for Maryborough backwards and forwards, we Agnes and Gladstone and vice versa, we got deals going left, right and centre, bits ways. So we've got a lot of the same community sitting in there. So we need to do something there. We need to sell the area and the location of where it is, because that's what people are coming here. You know, we were the cheapest thing on the board, and now we're getting close to being expensive. Newsletter a quarterly newsletter that is professionally done, that just goes out. Here's what's happening around this month. This is what's interesting. This is what's on, and some click here to see properties over 500. Click here and maybe put some fancy homes on there, but more of a community newsletter of this is what's on in Bundy, what's on in Agnes, what's on in Gladstone, what's on in Maryborough, and like there's the beer festival coming up and stuff like that. And we punch that out once a quarter into that, because you don't want to get busted on the spamming laws. Good idea? Crap idea? All right. The other the other thing that nobody's doing, because most people can't afford to do it, is it's kind of like it's the whole pinch test with the paper. Has anyone heard that that's been in it a long time? That a newspaper had to have the pinch test. If it didn't have the pinch test, nobody would buy it. Is that accurate, Steve? Yep, I think. Yep. So one of the single most things that the guys at Budrum did was they created a prestige book that had all the sales of areas like the river and the coastal front, and we could put 5 offices in there, so the beautiful offerings of properties that are available, and it looks something like this, right? And you go and drop them in all those homes. It's about $18 a book, but they reckon they're too good to throw out, and they stay on people's coffee tables. They're aesthetically pleasing, they're beautiful. They've got, so you could put the Maryborough River properties on there, you could put the beautiful Queenslanders that come out of Maryborough, you could put some of the beachfront stuff that Bagara's done, some of the lovely stuff at Agnes. There's a couple of properties in Gladstone, I think Dennis and I were laughing about, that we could make in there, but we could maybe put some mining bits at the back for Dennis. Renewable energies. Yes? Doing this? Yeah. 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 Yeah, so I'm talking almost to the point it is so good that they're like, oh, you know what, I just can't throw that out. That's actually really, and gee, that's nice. These guys do really good stuff. Not saying it's a thing, it's an expensive thing to do, but there's only 2 people doing it. There's 35 agencies in Bundaberg. I'm happy to be second. I don't want to be 29. But that's 3 component pieces apart from the number one thing we do, which is realestate.com. Yep.
Could we trim it down? Like $20 is a lot, so you look at 20 grand for 1,000 homes. Like, can we maybe do some? But I suppose then it takes away the beauty of it.
10. It's just, I'm not even putting into account building the booklet. I'm just talking the actual printing cost to get the quality where it is. Look, it would be a 5-office collaboration, but it's like we've got to get to the point of we would need to get them. Yep, so you could take them to appraisals and leave them. So you could do that, and then you could actually door drop, the strip. So you would know which ones are owner occupied down the strip of Wangara Scenic Drive and, Bloodwood, and just want to put that at your front door. All right. So it's an old technique. So the old technique, remember the old local directories phone book? Everyone's got one. Most people use it as a doormat, but that's not going to get used as a doormat. But it's just a thought. Okay. Nobody, or 2 people would be able to do that, and that's about it. Okay. So the social media strategy is we have to build likes and followers, and we need a plan. We need a plan fast, and then we need to get out there and execute and see if it works. We're going to run one with Bundy Cup and see how many likes. So next week we're actually running one, and I'm going to tell you what the touch football community of Bundaberg ends up with between there and Gladstone and see what happens. All right, we don't have to man it, and we're going to just have a crack at it. We're going to throw $500 at it and see how fast I can grow it. I'm going to shoot a video with Josh in it shortly, and then we're going to have a go. All right, that's going to give us a little bit of dictation, but I think open homes would be a crazy thing. Whether or not you want to do the coming soon thing, that's a joint conversation around each office, around what that looks like. Team grouping. For those that have found a little extra icon on their Microsoft Teams, is we will be we're cleaning up your Microsoft Teams with all your channels, okay? So when you look at your channels at the moment, you have all your addresses in there and it's owned by somebody. You are now going to have one channel, which is your name, and then inside that you will have, is it more channels?
You have your team, and then you have all your properties as your channel.
Yeah, you have all your properties inside under your name. So that's going to transition out. Why? Because we're full. We're stuck. We can't move forward, can't move backwards. There's too many because we're not archiving. So you will only have current properties in your Teams channels, but it is underneath your name first, and then you're going to see the split down of those properties, okay? So that is happening and it's on its way. Pitch price updates. Last couple of weeks, I've been talking across the group, how do we do it, what do we do it? Zach, are you, so you're probably is there anyone else that's automating apart from you? Is it you and Brad?
Peter and Marie also have automation.
Yep, price up. Okay, so there's 3 lots of people in the room around pitch price updates for people that have sold properties 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, that we've automated part of that piece. The single easiest, most prospecting tool, fastest way to do something is do that, give them an update. It's not making you put a price on anything, it's just telling you what's sold in the area. Okay, so these are happening. FOM training. Demi is going to be looking after that alongside with Ashley. So Kira, and Kai and the new girl when she rocks up at Agnes will be, so Demi will be overseeing the training modules around making sure that it's exactly the same in all 5 shops. All right? We don't send emails to tell somebody to ring them back. If you're a property manager, it's going through the comms channel. I don't care whether you don't like it or not, it's happening. Okay? So for those that, I'll come back to that in a minute. Sarah's going back to being a +1 in 90 days. In 90 days, Sarah will not be one of the team. She will be the +1. She's a weekend warrior, okay? And there will be everybody, so the agent services team, that Sarah will be going back to the +1, which is around training, and so she will be more of a plug-in around holidays and the weekends as opposed to day-to-day. I've got a gazillion things to do. So if you're wondering where Sarah is, that's what that looks like. New offshore team members. Okay, set up. Yeah, okay, so a lot of you doesn't make a whole... How many have we got? Have we got any new ones in PM? Offshore? No, okay. Offshore for PM at the minute is fine. We've got 2 new people starting middle of February for agent services, and they will be sitting underneath each of our team members, okay? So Jackie will have someone sitting underneath her. Erica's got someone sitting underneath her. Kirsty's going to have someone sitting underneath her until they become competent, okay? So we've changed the way we're training, okay? So it's basically top tier people with the most experience that know how things go on, and then they're going to be dishing down some of the live to market tasks and all the bits and pieces that happen in your day, okay? So with that, yeah, with the live to market task, yeah. So you'll still be, so you're pretty much, we're going to talk into those main 3. Most of that works. Nothing changes for you guys, but just to give you an idea of what's happening underneath the level of the service of what we're going to, okay? So to give you an idea, Monday night, offshore team got 9 contracts in 11 minutes. And that was at 5:30 after everyone had gone home. And guess what? every single one of them was urgent. Because none of you fill out the timeline. So this bit down here, you're still working? Today would be good. Yeah. Okay, date and time required, pretty, whoops. Date and time required. Everyone just puts when they start typing it, that's when it is, which means it's urgent. Apart from about 4 of you. Yep. Thanks, Zach. That makes it 7 o'clock for those that are all working. So all I'm asking to you is we're not trying to make anyone, so all I want from our team is that we use the stuff that we have around Form 6s, contracts, bits and pieces, but just understanding that the people that are working in your agent services group, pushing your work out and getting your work done, that like we sold 5, Zach and I did 4 contracts Monday night between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock because that's when we do them. I mean, we mopped them up and did the rest of them on Tuesday. But you got to understand when they get that, it comes in on a big spreadsheet. It's go, okay, so you can break them because they're humans just like us. So just be really, really mindful around just help them. You know, if you don't need it till Tuesday, just put on there first up Tuesday morning. You know, do that. The other part that I thought was cool. So in your workbooks, you got some. You've also got like your, you know, if you're writing commission. Okay, to give you an idea, on your personal hub page, you actually, Sarah's gone and put all your numbers in, done all your charting, done all your bits and pieces. Okay, and she will tell me, based on my numbers, I did 148 appraisals, I listed 94 properties, I had 84 under contract and 81 of them settled. And my average commission was $12,824, and my average com was $2 at 2.8%. Okay? That is on your screen. All you have to do is type in here on your goal, what do you want to do? And it'll spit the rest out. You don't even have to do the calculation, we did the maths for you, based on what you did last year. If you want to get better, you want to get to Vicky realm, sells 99% of what she lists. You can do less appraisals and less listings if you sell 99% of it. That's not a punt at anybody, that's just her numbers.
I'll have Maryborough and Agnes done by next week.
Okay, so template is there. Pretty much most of the stuff is in there. So when we talk about Hub Dash, Ashley's getting scared now because I'm trying to drive.
I was going to suggest you just let it do it.
So FOM's going to be using the communication piece. For everyone's going to be using comms. We're not sending emails to, hey, call this person back, call that person back. We're using this, okay? This is the dashboard for a property manager. That's what happens. Demi, Gladstone, Maryborough will be plugged in. Agnes is going to be plugged in. That's how the flow goes, all right? All right? So you're going to find that we're going to start to live in that space so that we can actually track, we can get the stuff back. So when people complain, I can actually back you up. You know, if they say to them, well, hey, well, you know, we received it at 12:42 and we had a return call back at X, that's what it actually gives you the information. Okay? So I've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort running that. For those that want to see, is it lost, Ash? No, not that one. Spaces, isn't it? When I can get addresses. Okay. So what I'm working with so based on when we do what we need to do from a property management point of view, so for those that don't know, we've probably got close to 2,000 managements. All right. If you look at a natural attrition of that is around about 11% of those properties sell every year. Okay, you do the maths on that. Even if So even if we take sheds out and it gets back to like 1,500, that's 150 sales a year. That if we can convert every one of our landlords that's not going anywhere else, that's a lot for you guys to feed off quickly without having to run out and go and stick stuff in letterbox drops. So one of the things from property manager point of view is if they do their stuff at the front end, it comes out the other side and tells me if the owner's moving in or whether it's lost for mismanagement or there's an opportunity. So we're going to be moving those opportunities back in, and I'll use Agnes as an example. Agnes's came in December and there was 11 new people moving in to their rental properties. Now, people moving in, that's AKA is I've decided I'll probably sell, I need to clean a few things up and do that, or it's actually moving in. I think out of the 8, I'm pretty sure they did 5 appraisals of the 8 of those properties. Now, if we didn't have that data, they wouldn't know, wouldn't be able to do the bits and pieces, and we would be nowhere. And those there would probably go down to Ray White or Cam Realty or whatever that might be. But because if we use the system and the way we do it, it tracks the bits and pieces and nobody has to do any effort, but it allows us to get the opportunities back through the door. Okay? Bundy's, there's a huge amount of movement around moving in, moving out. And so that runs, sold by external agent, 11 Finnis Street. So that was a missed opportunity that we may or may not have had. So this is the kind of stuff, if you want to know what I actually do half the time, some of that stuff is working on that. If you want to know what Ash does, Ash is the brains behind most of that information and how to make that stuff work and how to plug that in and do that. That's part of what she does outside of doing BDM and a portfolio. So we spent a lot of time working through those bits and pieces to get there. Also trying to make it as simple for you guys as real estate agents to do what you do best, which is talk on the phone, do those bits and pieces, fill the forms out, we get there and get the properties to market as fast as we can. Okay? Has anyone got any questions? No? No? That's pretty clear. Marketing strategy, is everyone okay over that? Because we'll talk about different rooms and different spaces for that. Everyone that saw in that quote. I'm not going to do that today. If anyone wants to run a real estate office, come here and I'll tell you if you want to just to have an agent work in this room. All right. The minimum cost straight up, just in tech and agent services, is $1,408 per person. So costs 20 grand a year just to have you sit and occupy a seat. And that's not to scare you, that's just to show you that, my public indemnity bill was $50,000. By the time you put all of them in, car insurance, we've written 2 cars off. All that kind of stuff is just, you want to run a real estate office? Just to actually operate, do a contract, do a listing, do a bits and pieces, and you're an agent or a person that works in the room, it costs $1,408 just in subscriptions. And that's running an offshore team. Now, if we were running Aussies, you could push that through the roof because Aussies cost 3 times the cost of our offshore and agent services. So if anyone wants to know what the model is, I'm pretty open and transparent about how we run it. All right, but it's 20 grand just to have someone sit in a seat to get the tech. We need the tech, so we're not getting rid of the tech. But the tech is it's a really good system. It works, and the bits and pieces. But it also means that when you got 50 people in a room, it quickly adds up real fast. Like on the 1st of every month, one office costs $92,000 to open the door. It's a big number, and that's including paying the agents, that is, but that's what it kind of costs. So, and that's not to scare anybody, but that's just to give you an idea that, when they say to you, it's one of the things, when you're going into a presentation or something, it's like, oh yeah, this job's easy. It kind of is easy when you've got the tech and all the bits and pieces, but if you haven't got any tech, it's old Sapphire Realty next door's, photocopying window cards and putting them up with blue tack. It's hilarious. Like, who even does that? So, so the only other thing that that I just want to leave you with, because we're probably a little bit half over time, is we did goals, we did finance, okay? So the finance part I know is a very personal thing for people, so I don't want you to kind of, I just actually wanted you to have a think about it. Because it's pretty interesting that how much we don't think about what did we save, what did we invest. When I talk about invest, we're also talking about debt reduction. The other part is some people just don't even think, oh, what would I like to earn next year? And if I was to earn that, how would I add value so that I could earn that? I'm happy to pay people more, but you've got to add value. Don't add value, I don't pay more. Simple as that. It's very, very simple. All right? You have to show me where you add value. Zach comes in with a proposition and goes, I've figured it out, this is what it is, and this is back, and you know, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, all right, let me think on that for a few days. It's good, I've already figured it out. All right? That's called adding value. Because he knows how it works, right? So, you know, what are the key things that I've got to do to get a little bit better? SMART goals. You know, that's just, if you have struggle writing stuff down, it kind of breaks it down. Blueprint. So I've done that in digital form for the hub for you. You've got quarters if you want to break it down to. If you want to see an absolute unbelievable setup, is go and have a look at the whiteboards in Brad's joint. There's whiteboards for days, around quarters and who I got to do what and all the bits and pieces. So we covered a monumental amount of information for you today, and hopefully just stopping and having to actually look at a booklet that will give you some clarity around what it is, also gives people able to have a chat and meet the other people in the room and, hey, I haven't met you, and, you know, found out a little bit about that, and create some glue between team members. Say, hey, I'm struggling with this, how can I help with that? All right? So hopefully you were listening about who's interesting, you know, and something that might be similar and who can help me here. So I'm going to call a couple of people out in the room. Is Gordon needs to see some marketing from Brad. All right, so you just give him a real fast pace. He's going to walk over to the office and he just wants to see your marketing thing. He's never seen it before. I've talked a lot about it when you're not in the room. So can you just give him 3 minutes and just say, hey mate, this is what we do. This is how I do it, blah, blah, blah. Mark, exactly the same. So Mark is, you might, you know, we talk about associate for people that are looking to grow their teams into associate roles. All right, look for people that are already successful at that, which is obviously me, Mark. Brad's on the journey with Sky. With that space, if you want to talk to an associate and go, well, I'd like to be you one day, what does that look like? Okay, well, there's Zach. Sky's learning real fast. All right, what does that actually look like? Kynan's been doing it for 3 years. What does that look like? There's the people that you want to talk to. All right, you know, if you're a property manager or you're BDM or something like that, and like, okay, well, you're better than me. Well, why? Okay, I've had 33 years experience, but you know, how long has it been? You know, since you actually learned something, and vice versa. So that's what the purpose of today is put you in the room, give you a little bit of straight and narrow. This is what we want to work on. If you want to know my marketing strategy has to be about growing followers. And I want to go a little bit against the grain when it comes to, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, and we have to find that space. That is really important. We're going to have some more, I want you to digest that because I've spent 2 weeks in it. I've poked my eyes out a couple of times with it because I'm just sick of talking to nerds that want a ridiculous amount of money to produce nothing. All right, but I'll tell you the single most number one thing that will 100% change your world is you just cannot beat meeting people. 5 face-to-face appointments a day will outstrip any marketing thing that you ever do. You don't need a social page, you don't need any of that. Julie, starting 5 face-to-face appointments a day will change your world. All right, it's that simple. Don't make them come to you, you go to them. Go find 5 face-to-faces. I look at your prospecting plan. Your prospecting plan is watch 1,400 people walk through your front door on a Sunday morning at 3 a.m. You know, you've been doing that for a certain amount of years, and that gives you an enormous amount of prospecting leads to turn them into something. It is a fantastic strategy because it's face-to-face. You do all your prospecting in one day, but you know, you've had the discipline enough to get up every morning at 3:30 and run that market and do that bits and pieces, and everybody knows who you are. That is a phenomenal achievement when it comes around prospecting. All right, you know, and so these are the kind of things: is how do I access it? What do I do with it? How do I do it? But all of our job and what we do is face to face. You will if you're scared of the phone, this is not the industry for you. If you're scared to talk to people, this is not the industry for you. Go stack shelves, go do something else, go hide in the corner. But if you don't like people and you don't want to help people and you don't want to see, help them achieve their dreams and what it is they want to do, this is not your job. Okay, but I tell you, it is one of the most rewarding jobs I have ever done, and I haven't done too many jobs, but I've had a lot of experience in a lot of things. But it is probably the most rewarding jobs because I get to help people each day chase their dream, and it's a significant thing because the house is probably the most valuable possession that they own. It's probably the most expensive thing in the investment strategy they do, and that's what I love what I do. So thank you everybody for attending. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for those that have travelled. Please hang around, please chat a little bit, beeline somebody if you need to see them. Gordon, make sure you see those guys. Tom, I know you've got to catch up with some people, but if there's anybody here, use this time to create connections, swap a phone number, do bits and pieces so that you can go, hey, what are you doing? All right? Because you can do so much with video chat these days. Hey, Keens. All right, thanks so much for coming, guys. Hope you had a good day, and yeah, I will see you around.